Hi, this is Dr. Steve Vargo with episode 15 of Can I Ask You One Question, where we dive into the minds of topic experts and thought leaders, and we try to learn one critical thing from them that we can apply to our professional lives and maybe even our personal lives. And I have with me here Stephen Rogelberg. And Stephen is the author of a fantastic book I'm reading called The Surprising Science of Meetings, which draws on extensive research across a range of industries to help companies enhance the quality of their meetings. And Stephen's been interviewed on major TV and media outlets, including CBS This Morning and BBC World News. And he's even been called the world's leading expert on how to fix meetings. So in our industry, as I was talking with you before we hit record here, Stephen, meetings are often well-intended, but unproductive. So I said, I've got to meet this guy. So thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to share with us.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to do this.
So, Stephen, I work with a lot of doctors and healthcare professionals who are scientific by nature, but they don't necessarily apply science to their meetings with their team or with their staff. So my question to you is, what are 3 scientific ways to make your staff meetings more engaging and productive?
All right. Okay. So 3 key tips based on science. So I want to start with agendas because clearly agendas are key and they're certainly important. But what's more important than just having an agenda is what's on the agenda, right? Is it really relevant to attendees? What's even more important is how the leader facilitates discussion of the agenda items, right? Are they truly engaging and including attendees when discussing the topics? With this all said, would you like to hear a new innovation in agendas?
I would.
Okay, good. It would have been very awkward if you didn't.
That would have been weird if I had said no.
I know. Well,
so continue, please.
So as opposed to a set of topics to be discussed, try organizing the agenda as a set of questions to be answered. This action causes the meeting leader to really think about the meeting and what they're actually hoping to achieve. And by framing agenda items as questions, you have a better sense of who really has to be invited to the meeting, right? They're relevant to the questions. By framing agenda items as questions, you know when to end the meeting, and the meeting has been successful. The questions have been answered. And by framing agenda items as questions, you create an engaging challenge for attendees that draws them in. And Steve, if you just can't think of any questions, what does it mean?
No meeting?
It means that you likely don't need a meeting. All right, so there's your first one. Are we off to a good start?
Excellent.
All right, good.
I'm taking notes.
All right. Next, I will say that I encourage meeting leaders to be creative in your meetings. Try new things to mix it up. There are 100 million meetings a day around the globe, and they almost all look exactly the same. So try new things to, create some new energy and break rhythm. So here's an example: silence. Yes, silence can truly be amazing in meetings. For example, if you compare groups brainstorming in silence, like typing directly into a document versus those brainstorming with their mouths, silent brainstorming groups yielded nearly twice as many ideas. And those ideas tended to be even more creative. So, question for you, Steve: why would silent brainstorming result in more and better ideas?
You get the collective input of the group?
Absolutely. And so when communicating via writing, everyone can talk at once, right? There's no waiting for your turn. Additionally, there's less filtering of ideas given the simultaneous generation of ideas. And here's the good news: silence can be done very easily in a virtual meeting by just sharing with attendees a Google Doc, or there's some great apps out there, and this document can contain key questions that need to be answered or prompts for brainstorming, and off you go. All right, that's your number 2. You still happy?
Couldn't be happier.
All right, awesome. Number 3, pick the time for the meetings intentionally. So I get asked a lot, what is the magic time for a meeting? And there is no magic time for a meeting. The key is for the leader to actually make a choice that makes sense given what you're really hoping to achieve. So set meeting times thoughtfully and keep it as short as reasonable. You tend to get more energy and engagement when a meeting is tight by design. Avoid defaulting to the hour-long meeting unless it's truly needed, especially given something called Parkinson's Law. And Parkinson's Law is the idea that work expands to fill whatever time is allotted to it. So if a meeting is scheduled for 1 hour, magically it will take 1 hour. But we can use this to our advantage, right? Don't hesitate to make your meetings 30 or 25 minutes or 45 minutes. Like, we will get it done. And dialing the meeting time back a bit also creates positive pressure. And research shows that groups operating under some level of pressure, they actually perform more optimally given increased focus and urgency. Now, that was 3. I have a bonus. Do you want a quick bonus?
Oh my gosh, yes.
All right. So here's your bonus. The best way to make your meetings better, this is the very best way, is to ask people who regularly attend your meetings, how are the meetings going? Send out a quick survey every once in a while where people can indicate what is going well, not so well, and ideas for improvement. Then learn, reflect, and try some new things. And I'll say this, asking people for their input, this is the ultimate act of meeting stewardship. And with that, I've answered your question and even included a little bonus content.
With a bonus, which I wasn't expecting. I love the idea of asking questions and creating that curiosity. One thing I hear from a lot of people is, well, we have these meetings and they look disengaged, but the meeting is taken from the approach of we're telling them what to do. We're telling them what needs to be done. And there's not a sense of involvement in the group, which I think you'll always get more input and contribution out of people when they feel like they have a voice. So I love that idea. And I was trying to think of is it Parkinson's Law? I couldn't remember what it was called, but as you were going through that, that's what I was thinking in my head, that something will expand to fit the time you give it. And we've all been part of meetings where, does this hour-long meeting really need to be an hour, or could we have easily condensed this down to half an hour?
Well, and here's something for, I think it's kind of exciting for you. You are basically demonstrating these principles as part of your vision for your series here, right? I mean, so I get asked to do a lot of podcasts, and I typically just don't have time to do them all. But think about your approach. You reach out, you tell me you just want 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes, wow, that's not much time. And we can get everything done. And you frame your podcast as a form of a question, right? So you had a tight by design, you asked me a question and we answered it. And so we have that sense of completion. So thank you for acting like a good steward and designing a compelling podcast.
So I was following the format and didn't even realize it. So
exactly.
Thank you for pointing that out. Stephen, awesome. This is great. Thank you so much for doing it. Where can people find out more about you and your book?
All right. So I have a website, and the website is StephenRogelberg.com. So StephenRogelberg.com or thesurprisingscience.com. And I really hope people will check it out because I have just put a ton of resources on there. I really wanted to make it to be that science-based resource for people trying to solve meetings. So definitely that's a great place to go.
Awesome. It is a great read. Highly recommend it. Thanks again, Stephen. And thanks everyone for listening. You can find the show notes for this episode and all previous episodes at drstevevargo.com. And I'll also link Stephen's book there. Thanks again. Thanks, Stephen. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.